and I would just like to say thank you to all of you for making me so welcome. And as Sarah says, I can't hear, so those of you that I've met, thank you for speaking clearly for me to lip read or writing things down or whatever. I've really appreciated the welcome that you've given me. And before I talk this morning, I would just like to thank Malcolm for the opportunities that he's given me with this book and with my writing. He's really encouraged me, so thank you, Malcolm. And also congratulations on the award. I was really pleased for you, so thank you. Well, as Sarah said, she worked with me on Still Emily. And she probably knows that I can be quite particular. She's already said it, I can be quite fussy. And as a writer, I often look at something, so I look at a sentence or a statement, and I think, is there any way I can make that better? And I include my own writing. I look at my own sentences and I think, can I make that better? You know, as I thought about this session this morning, making a difference, I thought, for this session, can I make it any better? And then I realised, yes, I can, because I can add a bit in front of it. I can add thank you. So this session is actually called Thank You for Making a Difference, for each one of you. Thank you for making a difference. Let me tell you a little bit about how a bookshop made a difference to me. So back at the beginning of this year, I was in a bookshop in Congleton, which is sort of near Stoke. I was in a bookshop just looking at the books, minding my own business, and suddenly somebody came up and they tapped me and they were like, "Are you Emily?" And I looked, and it was none other than our very own John Adams. John Adams had bumped into me in the bookshop. And we chatted, and I should cut a long story short. That's why I'm here today, because of John Adams. Now, I know that the John you know is the eminently sensible sales rep. He's the member of the Blue Shirt Band. I'm not trying to be in the Blue Shirt Band, by the way, just so you know. And that's the John you know, the sensible chap. But I thought you might like to see a photo of the John that I knew back in the day when I first met him. So could we have the photo of John? There you go. That is John on the beach. John and I were on a beach mission team together. We were doing children's stories, singing songs on the beach. And the photo actually shows John having water bombs thrown at him on the beach, having water bombs. Now, I don't know how many of you would like to help John relive his youth. If you would, I'm really sorry, I haven't got a beach. But I do have water bombs. So come and see me afterwards. And I'm telling you, they're absolutely free of charge because it is a really worthy cause to bomb John. So anybody who wants a water bomb, they are free of charge. So anyway, yes, as I say, blame a bookshop for why I'm here, but I am absolutely delighted to be here with you today. And I've been to that shop lots of times. I've only seen John once, but I have been to the shop lots of times because Congleton is halfway between where I live and Manchester. And now Manchester is where I go for my hospital appointments. I go very regularly, probably at least 4 times a year, and I stop off in Congleton and I look in the bookshop and I have coffee. But the reason why I go to Manchester for these hospital appointments, as I say, it's for operations. When I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with a condition called neurofibromatosis type 2. Now, I know you're all into words and books, but I'm not going to ask you to spell that. Neurofibromatosis type 2. NF2 for short. I was diagnosed with that when I was 16. And basically, it's a condition that means I grow benign tumours on nerves anywhere in my body. Anywhere at all, I grow these tumours. In fact, I've probably had... I have had an average of at least 1 surgery for the last 20 years every year. I go very regularly into hospital to have operations. In fact, when I go to that shop in Congleton, as I say, it's fairly frequent. When I go, Catherine, who's the bookshop manager, I open the door, I walk in, and Catherine says, "Oh no, not you again, not you again." But she means it in a nice way. She doesn't mean, I hope she doesn't mean she doesn't want to see me. She means that, I'm sorry, you've got to go to hospital again. But you know, one time I went into that shop and I couldn't hear Catherine say, "Not you again." I couldn't hear anything. And you might think that song choice that we've just sung was a fix, but it really wasn't. I didn't choose the song, but I'm so pleased with whoever chose it, When the Music Fades. It's absolutely fitting for my story because the music did fade. The music did fade. I'd just like to read you a review that somebody wrote about Still Emily. It's not long, don't worry. I'll just read a little bit of it. It says, Still Emily is one of the most heartbreakingly honest books I have ever read. Despite her ongoing battle with this devastating condition and the tragedy of all she has lost, the overwhelming message is that of hope. That we are loved, we are upheld by God, whatever happens, even when things are stripped away. When the music fades, all is stripped away. A few weeks before this, I'd had an operation up in Manchester, and it was a big operation. So I went into surgery. I could hear fine. 13 hours later, came out of surgery, woke up, I could hear zilch. I couldn't hear anything at all. I'd lost my hearing. The story's in Still Emily. And I tell you, I was terrified. I have never been more scared in my life than when I woke up in that world of silence. I was terrified for a long, long time. I didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to go out, just stayed in the house, didn't want to see anybody. But there was one place that I did not feel scared to go. And you can probably guess where that was. It was that bookshop in Congleton. And why didn't I feel scared to go into that bookshop? It was because of someone. It was because of Catherine, who was there and who always welcomed me. Now, I do actually look on Facebook, believe it or not, and I look at the Christian Retailer's Facebook page. So I do know that it's difficult. I do know that life is tough in the trade. But a quote I read recently, and I have no idea if I'm quoting one of you, actually, from your comment on Facebook, but I would just like to read it out, because this is true. Our shop is so much more than just a shop. It's a ministry, it's a calling, it's a witness in our town. And my experience is that is very true. Thank you for making a difference. You know, I feel really, really fortunate to have the opportunity to stand here today and to say thank you to each one of you personally. Thank you. I'm sure my thanks is echoed by authors here, not here, everywhere. We really do appreciate it, we honestly do. So thank you for all your work. When I meet other authors at conferences like this, or wherever I might be, I'm absolutely amazed by how talented some of them are. They are absolutely fantastic. Not only do they write books, but they can sell their books as well. And I think that is amazing. I actually can't sell for toffee. I'm really not very good at selling. So that's why I'm thankful for sales reps. And not just John, honestly, but I'm thankful for sales reps who go out there and sell my work. Thank you for doing that. But as you know, Still Emily is not my only book. I have two more in my 30-day series. One is David, who's just fallen on the floor. Unlike Goliath, David's fallen on the floor. But those books are published by Authentic, and thank you very much to Authentic as well for publishing my books. 30 Days actually came about when I was lying in a hospital bed. I spend a lot of time lying in a hospital bed. I was lying there. I was feeling absolutely worthless, rubbish. I was fed up. I didn't think I could do anything. My life plans had changed. And I said to God, I need to get back in touch with you. I need to get that relationship stronger. And I said to him, what I need is a devotional book that I can read every day. But it needs to be engaging. It needs to be based on the Bible. It needs to be really challenging. And it needs to be doable. Not like those hour-long prayer books that they were talking about yesterday. It needs to be doable, something I can do in, say, 5 minutes. That's what I want, but I can't quite find what I've got in mind. And God said to me, okay, you better write it then. You better write it then. So that is what happened. That is when I wrote Mary. And then others came, Mary, Elijah, John, Esther, David. They followed on. And I'll give you a couple of examples of feedback that I've had on these books. As I say, I'm not very good at selling books, so I'm going to use other people's words. I hope that's okay. I had a letter from somebody who described himself, and these are his words, so I'm not being offensive. He described himself as an old local preacher. old local preacher, he said. He's basically been preaching from the Bible for years, week after week after week. And he said, this book brings a fresh dimension to the Bible. It makes me look at it differently. Another time, I was speaking at a meeting, and somebody came up to me afterwards, and she had tears in her eyes. And she said to me, she said, somebody gave me your book on Mary. Somebody gave me your book on Mary. And then she carried on, and she went on to tell me her story. She had a 17-year-old daughter who was really, really ill. The daughter had anorexia, very, very badly. In fact, the daughter could only lie in bed. That's all she could do. She couldn't move. She was that thin, if you like. And she was depressed. She was lethargic. She didn't want to think about anything or talk about anything. And her mum was in absolute despair. Then her mum was given this book about Mary. And her mum decided, I'm just going to read one day's reading to my daughter. So she read one day's reading to her daughter, and she left it. And the daughter carried on lying in bed, being lethargic, depressed, whatever. Then the next day, nothing had changed. The daughter was still not well, really poorly, really fed up. And suddenly she said to her mum, Mum, can you read me that Mary book again? Can you read me that Mary book again? And her mum read her the next day. And then the day after that, the girl said, can you read me Mary again? And then carry on, can you read me Mary again? The girl wanted to keep reading the Bible. I have lost count of how many people come up to me and say, I've read your book, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm quite glad you've read my book. That's fine. People say, I'm sorry, because I read day one, and then I couldn't stop. So I carried on reading. I'm really sorry that I've not stuck to the days. Well, I must admit, I said, that's absolutely fine, don't worry about it. People cannot stop reading about the Bible. What is not to like? What is not to like? It's all about taking the Bible, not at face value, but actually digging deeper and saying, the Bible can be relevant. It can be relevant to our lives today. And it can be exciting as well, as you might find if you read this book. So just to go back to that bookshop in Congleton, let me tell you something that Catherine has never ever said to me. Something Catherine has never ever said is, Emily, what's wrong with your face? Emily, what's wrong with your face? She has never asked me that. My facial nerve was damaged in one of my operations. The surgery cut the nerve accidentally, and my facial nerve was damaged. I'll be honest with you, I don't like it very much. I don't like the fact that my face is damaged. But it was damaged before I met Catherine. She knew nothing of my story. My face is fairly obvious, and yet, as I say, Catherine never, ever says what's happened to your face. All she wants to know is, Emily, how are you? How are you? How are you? That's all she wants to know. And I have been asked so many times by people I meet, what's happened to your face? What's wrong? What's wrong? But never, ever in a bookshop. So thank you for making a difference. That David book that I have just dropped on the floor, I'm very sorry, that I was going to hold up very well, but I can't do that. So anyway, David, in the David book, Samuel says to David, man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. Man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. It was my goddaughter who actually taught me to really understand that people do look past my facial damage. I haven't got time to tell you that story now, much as I'd like to, but it is in the book, so have a read. And as I say, she taught me to look past. Now, I don't know what you see when you look at your life. I don't know what you see when you look at your work, your books, your shop. I have no idea. I don't know whether it's positive or negative. But one thing I do know, God looks past that. God looks past that, and he sees you. And as you carry out your ministry, day by day by day, as from the awards last night, I know how brilliant you all are. I was amazed at the awards to see what you all do. But as you carry out your ministry day by day, God says to you, well done. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Well done. And sometimes it's nice just to stop for a second, just to stop and let God say that to you. Let God say, well done. Well done, my good and faithful servant. But that's not enough. It's not enough just to stop and hear it. Also, you need to choose to believe it. Well done. I think I'm probably far beyond my time. I know Malcolm's nodding at me. So just to finish, I would like to finish with a quote from Esther, from my book on Esther, which will hopefully come up on the screen. Yes, thank you. The quote says, "Do you forget to thank God? Do you bypass thank you? In every day there is something to be thankful for, and it is never too late." Well, let me tell you that today, well, every day actually, but today I get the chance to tell you that I am thankful for you. You're my thankful thing today. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you.